Hello.
Hello.
All right. I will attempt to subdue my Baptist background, and when I say I'm not going to be before you long, it won't be too long. I've heard that it's a dangerous place to be between a person and their food. So, I want to be in good standing with the Kikuyu. So, I just want to share a few keys with you about life, about business, about finance, about structure that bleeds into your business, it bleeds into your life. Some of this bleeds into your ministries. This is stuff that'll help you in every avenue. The first thing I want to start off with is talking about gratitude. Gratitude is a posture that leads to you accessing more. It's a code of abundance. Gratitude partnered with stewardship. Now, let's do an exercise. I know we might be exercised out, but let's do one real quick. Say thank you.
Thank you.
That was easy, right?
Yes.
That's why it's cheap. See, the real gratitude isn't in our ability to say thank you. See, that's a formality. Someone does something for you, it's easy to say thank you. We even say thank you in the middle of an argument. Thank you, leave me alone. It's easy to say thank you. But when it actually comes to honoring people that are pouring into you, that are doing things for you, the greatest thing that that you can do to show them that you actually respect their sacrifice for you is to build upon what they gave you. There's a parable they talk about in the Bible about talents. It says he gave this one this many talents, this many, that many talents, and then one only got one talent. And all the ones who went out and multiplied that thing received more. They received favor. They received thanks from the one that gave into them. And then the one that said, you only gave me one and just buried it, got in trouble. The thank you, even when it comes to us dealing with God, isn't just thank you so much for my life. Thank you for waking me up. It's beyond that. It's because I'm grateful, I'm going to do great things with what you've given me. I'm going to use my gifts, I'm going to use my abilities, I'm going to use my talents, I'm going to use my efforts to the best of my ability, and that is a posture of gratitude. So much of the success stories that you hear today are the byproducts of gratitude. Someone poured into us, and we were so grateful for it that we built on it. We took the seed that they sowed into us, and we turned it into orchards. So, in addition to talk about that, like I said, I'm going to address a few things here. I want to talk about the mentality, more about the mind. Double-mindedness and indecisiveness is going to kill you faster than anything. I thought it was prophetic that Charmaine, as she approached earlier, she started with the song Yes. Because there's been many moments, I'll talk about me, I won't talk about you. There's been many moments where I found myself struggling in life, and when I asked God, I said, what is going on? He said, you haven't made a decision past this point, so I can't bless a direction you haven't chosen. He said, you need to make up your mind. A few years ago, I was working at a car wash. I was one of the managers there, and work got a little tough, bills got a little tough. It's just being at work stopped feeling fruitful. And I said, really, what's going on? Like, it was a lot of just random chaos started. I said, what's going on? He said, I asked Christ, he said, you haven't told me if you want to stay here or not. Therefore, I can't bless you with a promotion here. He said, what do you want? Do you want to be here for the next several years, or do you want to move on to something else? Once you make up your mind, then I can bless the journey. So I sat with that for like 2 weeks to really make my mind up. What if I told you that the reason behind delay, the reason why you're not necessarily seeing the fruit of your labor is because you haven't made up your mind on what you actually want to do yet?
Come on.
Yes is an important step. I didn't get to Kenya without saying yes 4 years ago. So I said yes 4 years ago. The reason why most of us don't start is that we think we have to come up with all of this stuff on our own. So we won't agree to it until it makes sense. I want you to know that in order to be in business or to be successful in life, you have to look ridiculous when you start.
That's right.
It's not supposed to make sense. Think about all the things that we look at today as normal. It started out as an outrageous idea. Light bulbs didn't really exist like that 100 years ago. Now we have colored light bulbs that change color while we talk. That came down to being resourceful. Someone saw a problem that everyone else was encountering and just decided to do something about that problem. So part of the mentality shift is changing the way that you look at problems. Most of them are opportunities. Most of that is business decisions right there. That's business ventures. See, I'm from America. We have a rough history. We had slavery, we had plantations, we had Jim Crow. Most of the inventions that we enjoy in the States came from the ingenuity of slaves that said, how can I lessen the burden on myself and the people that are laboring alongside of me? Yes, the way that we're doing it is working, but can this be better? Can this be easier? Problems give you the opportunity to come up with something new. So this might sound jarring, but part of your success story, if you really want to pray a dangerous prayer that's going to help you, start praying for more problems. Give me some more. Because the more problems I get, the more opportunities I have to elevate, not just myself, but us, because that's a key of business. See, there's certain companies, the largest companies in the world are the ones that we can't boycott if we tried. Because they're so ingrained in how we do life, we can't do without their product. That means that they looked at how the world was working and said, what can I do to change how all of this works? So if we get mad at Bill Gates, guess what? We still use Microsoft. He still gets paid. Like, I don't like that guy, but he still gets paid. I don't like Amazon. I don't like Jeff Bezos, yet still use Amazon. I don't like this person. Guess what? We still use their products. Because they found a problem that we had, that whether we like them or not, we need their system. So I want you to start meditating on problems as they show up. Albert Einstein. Y'all heard of Albert Einstein?
Yes.
Known as one of the smartest people in history. He said, I don't believe I'm smarter than y'all. He said, it's not so much that I'm smarter than you, I'm just comfortable sitting with problems for longer. And he said, eventually the problem tells me how to solve it. So you have to get used to looking at problems. You have to be okay with facing it, looking it in the eye, and letting it explain itself to you. George Washington Carver, he's the one who invented most of what we do with peanuts. He said he would go in his garden in the morning and the peanuts would tell him what to do. I told you, this stuff, it starts out outrageous. You have to be an outside of the box thinker. The box isn't blessing you, so let's not worship it. All the stuff that we're looking for, we're looking in the wrong place. We're looking at what has already been done, and we're trying to see if the people who are already successful are willing to share some of their glory with us. Nah. There's free real estate outside of the boxes. It's an infinite amount of things that can be done if we leave our comfort zone. So part of that is changing our expectations. Expectations play a huge role in life and in business. Do I have anyone here who gardens? If you garden, wave your hand. If you're a farmer, you garden. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Which means you know what I mean. Answer me back out loud. When you plant something, does it grow the same day?
No.
Okay, great. Which means that the seeds that we're sowing for you today, you're not supposed to see it tomorrow.
That's right.
In fact, there's this period in the middle, which is actually the most important, called the gestation period. Any mothers here, right? If you're a mother, wave your hand. See, even in pregnancy, they call it a gestation period. That's the pregnancy period, where the seed has been planted, but it's not yet born. That's the most important part, where we pretty much have to bubble wrap y'all, because you're carrying precious cargo. What we're doing here is inducing labor through this conference, right?
Come on now.
We're trying to plant enough seeds so that something grows given enough time to develop. But that gestation period is all about nurture. You actually have to cultivate it. And cultivation isn't easy. Farmers, it's not easy, right? You got to be out there when it's hot. You got to be out there when it's raining. Because the rest of the world doesn't care about what you're growing. Because it's not here yet. If you're looking for someone to support you when you don't have anything, it's not going to happen. Because of how most people's minds work. They look for a finished product. So it's common for you to have more congratulations than you did support. That's just how that works. Most of us won't start until we get enough support. Most people will not support nothing. That's a freak accident. That's a story. That's random. That's not something you can bet on. So it's important to know that, again, fruit does not grow in the same time that a seed is planted. So you have to learn to have grace with yourself, to be patient with you. See, the rest of the world is moving. You might see other people growing and it makes you think you're behind. Not really. You're building something different. At least I hope you are. You're building something new and you're doing it in a different way, which means the way that someone else did it might not be the way that you do it. Let's see. Can I say something controversial? Can I say something that'll challenge you but help you?
Yes.
Okay, so to really get good at business, you have to do the opposite of what you likely learned at church. I told y'all it was controversial, but it's going to help you. Okay. This is because a lot of church theology isn't actually rooted in the principles of God. Instead, it's rooted in the culture they grew up in.
Teach us.
They've just learned how to cover it with God. So it becomes a story about faithfulness instead of something that inspires people. Okay, how many of you love the Lord? How many of you are extremely wealthy? You consider yourself extremely wealthy. Right. That means that there's a disconnect, right? I want to help you, I promise. Expectations I'm still talking about expectations because there's this thing called currency. Usually when you think of currency, you think of money. I give you this in exchange for that. This is how this works. I want you to know that love is not a currency. Loving God doesn't give you anything back, but love. But they gave love to us first, so we actually owe them, if anything. No, love is not a currency. And how many of you consider yourself righteous? You're trying to do the right thing. Raise your hand if you're righteous. Oh, yikes. Okay, 4 righteous people. Great. We're talking to scammers today. I like it. Okay, great. I want you to know righteousness isn't a currency either. How many of you try to do the right thing, you're trying to help people, and you don't have the money to do it most of the time? Every time you try, it's a sacrifice. You have to give something you needed in order to do it. Okay, a common verse you heard at church. It said God likes a cheerful giver, right? You can't give cheerfully if you're in lack. The only time it's fun to give is when I have a lot and I got leftovers, because it's no longer affecting me. Church culture taught us to give out of our poverty, give out of our absence, which means it can never be cheerful, which means it can never multiply.
You own it.
Now, righteousness isn't a currency. Love is not a currency. Faith is a currency. See, the Bible actually says it's a substance. It exists. Substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. We're dealing with something that exists. In order to be good at business or at life, you have to be a visionary, which then comes back to being resourceful, like I was just talking about. Paying attention to the problems that you're dealing with or that you hear other people mention that they're struggling with. Charmaine mentioned earlier that you have to learn the language of your audience. Most people are telling you exactly what they're struggling with if you listen close enough. They say, we need this, we need that. I wish it was this. We're like, yeah, life could be better. No, they actually just pitched you a business idea if you were paying attention. Again, you have to get comfortable listening to problems, hearing problems. Even when it comes to money, Remember, I mentioned double-mindedness earlier when I mentioned indecisiveness. One of the reasons, and again, church theology messes with us, the love of money is the root of all evil. That's the verse. The way it's quoted is that money is the root of all evil. That's two different things. But since most people remember the quote and not the verse, you grow up thinking money's evil. That if you get too much money, it's going to corrupt you. Money doesn't corrupt people. I want you to know that. Money reveals who you already are.
That's right.
It just gives you the ability. Whatever you do when you get a lot of money is what you already wanted to do and just didn't have the resources to do it.
That's right.
Money doesn't corrupt, it empowers. But if I think money's going to corrupt me, it keeps me in a state of scarcity because when opportunities come, I self-sabotage it. And then I put it on God. I say, God is going to bless me. I won't make you raise your hand. You can nod. How many of you have passed up an opportunity and said, God's going to bless me? God got me. And then you look back and God ain't blessed you. There's a story. I'm from the south of America. I'm from Texas. We have hurricanes. We have hurricane season. There's a story of a man who's real faithful with God. Said the hurricane was coming. He said, no, God got me. I'm fine. He stayed home. They got on the TV. They said, y'all really need to evacuate. This one different. He said, I ain't scared of no hurricane. God got me. He stayed home. The hurricane came and started to flood. Some people came by on some boats, said, hey, we evacuating. You want to go? He said, no, I'm good. God got me. God is going to come to my rescue. It's all right. Well, the water started rising higher and higher. He ended up on the second floor of his house. He chilling. He said, God got me. He peeps out the window. There's another boat coming by. Said, hey, are you sure? We looking for people that's trapped in their houses. You sure? He said, no, I'm good. God gonna come get me. I promise. So the boat leaves. Eventually the water rises to the point he got to sit on his roof. And he's sitting there. Helicopters going by looking for people floating in the water. He says, hey, we're here to get you. He says, no, God got me. Y'all leave me alone. Go look for somebody else. God coming to get me. Eventually it got to the point where he couldn't even stand on his roof. He's just floating in the water. And he gets upset. He said, God, I waited all day for you, and you never came to my rescue. He said, the story goes, God answered back. He said, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter, and you told him no. Most of us are looking for our next invention, our next big breakthrough to come from some burning bush moment. And most of it is the opportunities that we pass up every day because we want it to come in a certain way. I say that just to say skepticism will kill you, and it will kill your business. Discernment is okay. Discernment is able to see what is. Skepticism is when you're seeing stuff that isn't there. Skepticism is a response for fear. Discernment comes from wisdom. You know, the word wisdom translates into clarity, meaning I'm able to see it clearly. Skepticism, on the other hand, means that I'm putting something there, I'm guessing on what might be there. A lot of your opportunities on the other side of your skepticism. Some people didn't want to come to this. They said, really? Some people are coming and they're just going to teach you all about business for free? Yeah, it's not free next year. Skepticism robbed them.
There you go.
Now again, the things that you find yourself afraid of are the things that you find yourself self-sabotaging. That's a question I want you to focus on after you leave here, is what am I afraid of, and what could it possibly be preventing me from accessing? What's on the other side of the fear that I'm letting be God in my life? The other thing I want you to know, how many of you have an idea that you know God wants you to do? Not just something you want to do. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all still gonna be blessed, those of y'all who wants. But those of you who know God gave you this, raise your hand. Good, good, good. I want you to know that if God called you to it, God also financed it already. You just got to start. It's no longer your project. It's funded by somebody else. The resources that you're looking for are in the steps you don't want to take until you see the resources.
Yes.
See, if I told you there's a room somewhere in this parking lot, in this area, I've set a space outside and I've set a stack of money, most of you would leave now and go find it. That's kind of how God does this. He says, I want you to start a school. You say, I ain't got no money. And then you start trying to fundraise for some money. You never agreed to go start the school. He said, just agree with it. I got the funds. I'm asking you to run something for me. I got this. Part of our problem is thinking we have to do everything from scratch. Most of how I've run my ministry and received all these upgrades, all this success in my life over the last several years, started with me just saying yes. The Father says, hey, can you do this? Sure. Look, I just got back from Pakistan. I'm getting ready to go to India. I'm in Kenya. I don't like airports. I don't like traveling. I promise, I believe an extrovert must have told God no, and they knew I'd do it. Yes is important. Actually agreeing. All you have to do is agree and do the parts you know to do. If God called you to it, God already thinks you're qualified enough to do it. So you don't have to go get the qualifications. Most of the most successful people on the planet don't have the degrees that society thinks you have to be successful. Some of the best preachers I know have no doctorate of theology, no doctorate of divinity. I'm one of them. Some of the best people who know what they're doing in business have some of the greatest monetary growth, financial success. Millionaire Charmaine don't have a degree.
That's right.
See, if we had other people in our ears, we'd be in school instead of helping. And then when you go to school, you pick up other people's ideas that also don't usually work. Part of success is knowing whose advice not to take. I learned this early. That when I looked at people's life, I decided based on their life if I wanted their advice in that area. When I was growing up, we had Monday nights, we had Bible study with just men. We call it Brotherhood. And I went to Brotherhood because I wanted to learn. Like, me and my dad weren't getting along at that time. So I wanted to learn from older men just to pick up on some of their life experiences. So I would go to Brotherhood and I'm listening to them. And when it's talking about certain things, it's on point. Some days they got to talking about their marriages. I said, I'd never take marriage advice from y'all. They say, you know what? I remember this plain as day. One of the brothers said, I believe the reason we get married is like our spouse is like our sparring partner. That's who God sends us to test us. The enemy just use our spouses to see how we go. I'm like, I don't want to learn nothing about marriage from you. I'm supposed to come into marriage thinking my wife is my sparring partner. That means you treat your wife like your sparring partner. That means all y'all do is argue at home. I don't want that. So I didn't take relationship advice from people whose relationships I didn't want.
That's right.
I didn't take business advice from people who didn't have more money than me.
Yes.
Who didn't have more success, who didn't know how to steward their money. Because getting it is one thing, managing it is another. If they weren't taking care of their stuff, I didn't take money advice from them. I have some family members, a lot of money passes through their hands, but they don't have none themselves. They in a lot of debt. I don't want debt. So I decided not to go the route of debt. I'm like, that's how you got that. Great. Not doing it. Even in ministry, I watch people do things. I'm like, that's how you run that? That's for you. Part of growth is knowing whose advice not to take. Simple key. If you can't see anything you want, don't take it.
That's right.
If they're not outperforming you in that area, they have nothing to offer. There's some people I take relationship advice from that I would never take business advice from. There's some people I take spiritual advice from that I would never take business advice from. Not discounting an entire person, just their fields of expertise. We're good at individual things more times than not. But also you have to be open-minded enough to learn from everybody, even their mistakes. I'm like, I won't let you give me advice and coach me, but I will watch you and learn what not to do. That's free education. You did it. It didn't work. I know not to do it. So, 4 years ago, I decided, well, I was in prayer. My wife actually heard it before me. She was on her first 7-day fast. And she heard the Lord say that we were moving out of the United States. Shortly after that, we narrowed down that we were supposed to move to Kenya. We live here now. That started with us just saying, I don't know how we're going to get there, but fine, we can do it. If we're called there, great. Because we know that when God asks you to do something, if you don't do it, somebody else will. How many of you have had an idea and then you look up and then somebody else is doing it years later? It could have been yours. You ever heard of Michael Jackson?
Yes. Yeah.
Of course, the movie just came out. I gotta know Michael Jackson. There's a fun part of his life where he used to wake his manager up to help him with his music at like 2 and 3 in the morning. And his manager said, can't this wait till later? Michael said, no, because if I don't start on it, Prince will get it. Information is poured out every day. Heaven drops new things into the earth. The part where the church fails at is that the church believes that because they're the church, God's going to just make it happen for them. That hasn't worked. No. Bible says that the rain falls on the just and the unjust. Stuff is dropping every day. Are we paying attention? Are our minds open? Are our eyes open? Are our ears open to notice when opportunities are falling in our lap? Again, changing your perspective, changing your expectation. Ideas pop in every day on things that you'll see a decade from now. I'll tell you this prophetically, right? In a few years, most of the world is going to be trying to stuff itself into Kenya. I'm pretty much telling you that people are going to be throwing money into this region. Amen. Will you have something available to catch it? Because it's coming regardless. Amen. This is why we're doing this, to help you learn how to steward business, get your mind in the right place, so that if you start, once all these people come, you have something to offer to benefit. Yes. I don't want to hear from y'all 5 years later going, oh man, I probably should have started. I might shoot you. I maybe should have. I guess you were right. Don't tell me you were right. Just disappear. I don't want to talk to you. Because again, what I open with, gratitude, to prove that you actually received and you're grateful for the things that we're sharing with you. Don't just tell us thank you. I want thank you to become your life. Go live out the thank you. Go apply all of this stuff. I don't want y'all to leave like this is a revival. Oh, that was good. That was a good message. No, I want y'all to go do this stuff. Go start business. Go re-examine your finances. Go work on your mind. Meditate, cultivate you. Become a better person, which will make you better in every other field of your life. All right, y'all. I think it's time for y'all to eat. All right. I love y'all. Let's see. Okay, so let me make sure I got everything. All right, y'all. So that's all I have for y'all this evening. Thank y'all for listening to me.
Okay. All right. Have you learned something? Yes. Have you learned a lot? Yes. All right. I want us to be upstanding. You've been seated.